挽回残火の太刀。甘く見るな。残火の太刀は奴の炎の全てをあの一刀に封じ込めた挽回。残火の太刀来た。天地怪人。及ばずか。申し訳ありません。貴様一体何者じゃ。
ユーハバハ様。
ユハバハ貴様してるだけ挽回。
Hello and welcome to the final episode of the Legendary Joker series, if that's what you wanna call it. Today we're gonna wrap it up with Chicot. This joke died centuries ago. Chicot's gameplay and lore is quite simple, so this is gonna be a shorter video compared to the other Jokers. I think. Kinda anticlimactic for the finale, but don't count him out just yet. And yes, I will be using the footage of the previous cameo video since I got Chicot in the seed as well, so excuse me for my brain dead gameplay. Also, this time around, Chicot's actually a real person. Well, kind of. But he's mostly real. Anyways, we'll get to that later, but let's kick it off with his gameplay.
Don't ever fix your lips to say that, bro. I'm sitting right here and my daughter in the backseat.
Out of the 5 legendary Jokers, Chicot's ability is probably the easiest one to understand. His ability is to disable every boss blind in the game. This ability activates upon selection of the boss blind and makes that boss blind to be reduced to blind with a higher base score to clear. Blind. For deck compatibility, Chicot basically pairs well with every deck in the game. Except Painter's deck. Does anybody even use Painter's deck? If we're talking about general gameplay, then Chicot is almost always going to be useful in whatever build you have. Here's a scenario to help you paint the picture.
Hell no, man. What the fuck, man?
I hate myself. Have you ever experienced getting killed by a boss even though you have a goated build? Maybe you have a Baron build, or maybe the hack build, lucky card, etc. Chicot, you see, if you get him, he nullifies any possibility of you losing to some bullshit. In a normal game without Chicot, here's what typically happens. If you decide to do a flush build, then you're fucked if you get any of the rank bosses. If you decide to do a king build, then you're fucked if you get the plant. If you didn't get any boss reroll vouchers or matador, then you're fucked just in general.
Release me! Release me!
If your deck consists of one singular card which you have crafted so painstakingly throughout the run, through trial and error, RNG, the distractions and rebirths, literally like raising your own damn child, then the boss blinds came. Life goes oiny. No, we're not doing this. So you see, he's goated in a survival situation. But other than that, compared to the other legendary Jokers, he sometimes gets considered to be a little underwhelming by the community. This is due to the simplicity of his ability, or the lack thereof in mults. Cameo, Yorick, Triple A, or even Perkyo, kind of. Every other legendary Jokers in the game have something to do with multiplying your score. Cameo, Yorick, and Triple A multiplies your score under certain circumstances, but I guess Perkyo is unique in the sense that he is multiplying consumables, not the actual score itself. You can count Perkyo as a mult Joker also if you get the Observatory voucher, I guess, whatever, but excuse the tangent. While I was researching Chicot, a lot of the community suggested buffs to him, like maybe every time he disables a boss blind, he gets a mult, but I'm not that much of an expert in game balance, so let's leave that stuff to the pros/devs. For Joker Synergies, well, he's good with any Joker you get, if you don't mind losing a Joker slot for him. Before we continue to the lore though, I'd like to add a little theoretical remark. Apparently, according to the Balatro wiki, if you have 2 Chicots, the boss blind apparently cancels out the negative effect and becomes a positive. For example, The wall, which is an increased blind score, becomes the same amount as a small blind. The water becomes double discards rather than no discards. The monocle becomes +1 hand size, so on and so forth. Now I do need to state that I've never gotten 2 Chicots in the same run, so I don't know if this is a thing or not. I also don't know whether this design is intentional or a bug that never got squished. So please take this information with a grain of salt. Anyways, without further ado, let's move on to the lore. Oh yeah, he's...
Thou
Chicot.
Thou
Chicot.
is real!
Chicot, whose real name was Jean Antoine de Anglaise, was a jester from the 1500s and served King Henry III of France and later on Henry IV. He was born in a town called Gascony in 1540, La Française, and was actually a soldier before becoming a jester. He actually was a badass from what I read, as his skill with the sword and political/military prowess was well known. Because of this, he was the only known jester who was a fighter rather than a I don't think that's an English word. Because of historical inaccuracies, Chicot's story is a little confusing, and his death had a couple of versions which nobody really knows the truth of. Some people say he died a hero's death after trying to defend the king, Henry III. There's also a version where he died in the Battle of Coutras in 1587, which was part of the French Wars of Religion. Other people also said that he died while defending the king during an assassination attempt or a violent confrontation. And that's it? There's not much info that can be found about Chicot through the internet. Maybe there's some books out there, but I'm a brokey.
Like, if you're a broke boy, just say so.
Or is it? Remember what I said earlier about Chicot being mostly real? Well, that's because he actually has a fiction counterpart inspired by his real self. With the same name, he was in Alexandre Dumas' novel La Dame de Montsoreau, or The Lady of Montsoreau. I don't know how you pronounce that correctly. It was published in 1846, so it was a good while since his real-life self had passed away. Now, if you want the full story, you can go ahead and buy or R-word the novel yourself, but I'm just going to touch on it a bit regarding Chicot's role and character. Since he was inspired by the real Chicot himself, the fictional one has these personality traits as well, if not more exaggerated. He was a cunning, intelligent, and brave individual who often acts as a spy, advisor, and protector of the king, despite being a fool/jester. Because of his position as a jester, he is able to speak the truth about the situation he was in, which was the French Wars of Religion. Again, I am not a history expert, so do the research yourself if you want to know more about the full story. Chicot was both a fool who could entertain the kings with his comedy and laughter, but he was also a soldier and political figure who is not afraid to use his tongue to speak the truth of certain sensitive matters. Of course, all to help the king and country, as he is loyal to both. But yeah, I think that's actually it for Chicot. I know, not as dramatic and suspenseful as Canius or even thought-provoking as Yorick's, but he's a good role model and he's not afraid to speak the truth. His ability to disable boss blind abilities is taken from this, as he was cunning, sharp-tongued, and is not afraid to speak informally to the king. Thank you so much guys for watching. Now that the series is over, I'm open to any suggestions to what game or topic you'd like me to cover next. Or maybe if Local Funk decides to add new jokers. There's a bunch of them. We can go back to this series again. It's been a blast making these videos, but I wanna expand to something else next time. Again, thank you so much for watching and being there with me as the channel grows, and I'll see you next time on whatever topic we'll dive in next. Bye bye.